guys, how may me? It's MicheleMarieDalene, and Dory's here. And, I don't know if you can see me on the camera. She's sitting Indian style. There we go. Okay. Anyway, we were watching some TV tonight, and, nothing particularly, well, I think it was pretty good. We watched 2 movies tonight. I think the second one was, it was called A Country Christmas, and it was a little more of an adult-based theme movie, because it talks about the concept that politician that was trying to convince the world that Santa Claus is not real. Now, I wanted to ask Dory something, because Dory is also very much, like me, into a few things in that league. I want to ask you, as an adult, do you believe in Santa Claus?
No, not really.
It's kind of funny because I do, actually. But you don't believe in him in the sense of him having 8 reindeer? And no, not in that sense, no. But I believe in the concept of giving and charity.
Yeah, I give. Yeah, I mean, in the concept of giving, I believe in that. But I don't know.
And in the end of the movie, the Santa Claus actually gave a self-sacrifice to the family that he was with. I don't want to give away the movie plot because it's on Netflix. You guys can watch it. It's called Country Christmas. But it was really very interesting. But one of the things I noticed in this world is sometimes we just need a little bit of love and a little bit of hope in this world. It's almost like what Jackie DeShannon saying, put a little love in your heart. I mentioned that as a theme for the Thanksgiving message the day before Thanksgiving, and I still feel it's important. And I wanted to ask you what you think about, showing, love and appreciation for all this around you.
Say that again. What do I what?
Love and appreciation for the people around you, the people who come out and take the time to talk to you and share their lives with you, even strangers. Like the guy sometimes that's behind you in line, sees you're a few dollars short, goes ahead and gives you change at the supermarket.
Oh, okay.
Total strangers. They just go out.
That's for an example. When I was in Massachusetts, it's Honeydew. It's called Honeydew Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
Honeydew, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And my granddaughter wanted a donut, and I only had 50 cents for a donut. And this stranger walked up to her and said, "Honey, what kind do you want?" And she picked the kind that she wanted, and the guy paid for the donut. I mean, out of his kindness of the heart, because I only had 50 cents, and the donut was $1.07. The guy paid for the donut.
Me and Ed ran into something similar one time when we were Willimantic.
Mm-hmm.
We were at the Walmart up there, and we were just a little bit short in groceries, just a tiny smidge.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy behind me says, "Tell you what," pulls out a tenner. We only needed like 5. No, she pulled out 20. That's right, a 20. So he gave us $15 extra. Out of the goodness of his own heart, didn't even ask for anything in return. I didn't even know who this guy was.
Yeah. There is people out there that will do that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people out there that could just walk away and not care.
Right. And then there are people in this world that flip you the bird no matter what you do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know plenty of people that have done that.
Yeah. There's been some interesting videos about that. about they say is that it turns out if you live around more stingy, miserly people, you tend to be more stingy and miserly.
Yep.
But, can I jump in for a second? Sure. However, there is some question that I'd like to ask. What's that? You were poor, and yet you're not that miserly. I mean, you're miserly because of self-preservation, but it's like every time you get into a bind, instead of screaming and holding on to dollars and cents for your life, if you see someone that needs something and you have it, you will hand it to them. Yeah, I've done that many times.
Yeah. I remember one year, this homeless, that was a while ago, this person that that needed a jacket, and I had like 2 or 3 of them, and I took the jacket off my back and gave it to someone that needed a coat.
Okay. And
to this day, I knew that was the right thing to do.
Sometimes it's kind of hard because we're always told, especially, believe it or not, it's the title of a book from the 1970s, look out for number 1. I always said, number 1, which is Mother and Father God and my brother Jesus will take care of themselves. And they'll take care of me. So I can certainly, if possible, help others in need too. So, as I point out, number 1 doesn't need help. But sometimes number 2 and 3 do. That's true. Like Michelle's budget right now is hard. But Michelle put a request in on the Facebook group called Mother Asna's Temple. And it goes something like this. She said, Mom, I have never been one to whine when the chips are down. But I sure could use a helping hand right now. If it is your will for us to find a job that this disabled daughter of yours could do, we'd appreciate it. That's right, that's what I said. Because, it's hard for people to understand that I go out of my way to do these videos. Sometimes to my own peril. My own health sometimes gets in question because I love doing what I do, but sometimes it's like sometimes I feel like I'm burning the candle on both ends in the middle at the same time. Because I so much want to share what has been shared with me. But it's not always easy to do that. No, it's never easy. And the point is that Michelle is just, always wants to help other people. Kind of reminds me of looking back at your history, back to your own family. Your family were, in some cases, kind of in the middle of altruistic and stingy. Michelle's uncle, her father's brother, was a multimillionaire. But every year he went out of his way to help people as a philanthropist.
As a what?
He is a person that would give to charities and give money to those in need. And the last Christmas Michelle was with him, that he was there, she made a promise on a Christmas star, which was, you want to continue? I will. Well, I made a promise to the Christmas star. They said that I would like to continue on the legacy for the next generation. Unless I do these videos. It's best I can do, but it's to share and to show people the true love that my uncle wanted me to do. And I made a promise at his open casket funeral. I said to him, as I touched his corpse, I said, Uncle Arnie, I said, I may not be rich, but I'm going to do the best I can to carry on your legacy. I was not afraid to touch his body as I touched his cold hand. I said, I promise you. And that's the reason why I really get choked up more than ever in Christmas. And Christmas holidays coming up is because there's a lot of strong energy during this time that where people can kind of sense the giving energy. If you even think back at the time of even the birth of Christ, we know he really was born around September, but October. Okay, but what the story is still the same. Okay, the innkeeper didn't have a place for the travelers because they were doing Augustus Caesar was doing the census, so it was full. The lodging, and he said, "Well, yeah, he says it ain't much, but if you don't mind sleeping with the sheep and the goats and the horses or donkeys in this case," and that's exactly what Jesus was to be observed being born. Was, of course, in Israel, it was actually a cave. It was built underneath the house. They didn't actually build stables like we say, but they were using existing caves. So what's important to understand is that here is the Son of God on his mystical journey. He comes to earth as born in very humble circumstances. And he would be an important fulfillment of the message to Yahweh, to the Moses and the people of the Torah, with the house of David, which Mary was of the house of David. Joseph wasn't. But that's not the point. Not only did Jesus come to fulfill the letters of the law, but he came to expand the message of charity, love, decency, and kindness, which, sadly enough, some people have turned into a mockery, and you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the real message, it's pretty simple, really. It just goes back to something that Jackie Shannon said: put a little love in your heart. That's all Jesus wanted us to do. Because the sun, the sun, rises on the just and the unjust. Be good to your neighbors, be good to your friends, be good to your enemies. Because your enemies could become your friends if you let them.
That's true.
And after I watched this Country Christmas, I realized that there was a message in that story that maybe we need to look at as adults. Maybe there is not a Santa Claus with 8 tiny reindeer and a sleigh, but he represents something very important. Charity. An endless, boundless spiritual love. That's true, he does. And I think it's amazing that you, in your own way, have kept your promise to your uncle. I think he's proud of me, Lou. I know he's proud of you. And so's your dad. I miss my dad. I know. Oh, you know what my dad would say today? He said, "You'll pull through because you're tough. You made me like...
Did your father understand your
I think
situation?
he did. I think he did. In the end. But it was my mother that really was trying to be like that politician in that movie there. She was just like this, the politician aide was trying to, prevent him from speaking. My father did speak to me in private. When I was home, when I was last time when he was alive, and he told me that, he doesn't understand everything. Deep down, he still wants me to be doing the best I can, and to keep the faith. Even though he knows that my mom is the matriarch and she pulls the strings in the house. My dad, deep down from his NDE, had enough information about my background and who I was to realize I was special. It was kind of like a quiet little message between the two of us. Which is I may not understand exactly what it is or how it is. But as Saint Francis said, it is not to be understood, it is to understand. In other words, I may not understand everything, but my goal in life is not to be the one to tell you the way it is, but it's to listen to the heart of God and the Son of God and Mother God, and try to understand what is around us, the dynamics of the human existence. That's true.
Yeah,
it's just too bad that your mother was such a trying to like that woman in the movie, trying to prevent your father from speaking his mind. In essence, she did shut him up. No, not really. Because just as it did in the movie, my father did get the last word in. Because he is there on the other side and he watches my videos when they're being recorded. And I can sense a sense of proudness, of pride, that I have done everything my mother did not expect me to be. My mother wanted me to die, get AIDS and die. Well, guess what? I'm still here. My mother said I would be nothing. Well, I'm still here. May not be much, but I'm getting there. A lot of dedication, hard work. One of the things, guys, that me and Dory both know this, is that anybody in this world who really believes and is dedicated to the truth, you will find happiness if you truly persevere, I believe. I talk about a lot of different topics in my videos. My budget, of course, is a disappointment. But then again, I look at my budget and I see that despite all the hardships in my life, I've made some positive inroads. Sure, you did. So let me ask you a question. In your case, what do you think your father would want you to do with your mom right now?
Be strong for my family, my girls. Be strong for my grandchildren. Make sure that they're all taken well care of. And when my mom passed away, like Michelle was saying, she made a promise to her dad. I made a promise to my mom that every year I would bring out her Christmas stuff. And I tried keeping that promise as much as I could. This year I took out Christmas stuff, and I was like, I can bring my Christmas stuff out in my home again this year, because last year I couldn't. And I've got Christmas stuff that's my grandmother's and my mother's, and just so I can bring it out, I knew that my mom had a smile on her face. Like Michelle said, she wanted her parents to be proud of her. Well, I always had my parents on my side, but I just wanted my mom to be proud of me, knowing that I carried out her tradition of Christmas.
You know what's hard now? In some cases, and you know it as well as I do, it's hard sometimes when you can't, for a variety of reasons.
Or reach out.
Well, there's a lot of people in my case, there's a lot of things in my life you could call the hanging chads of my life that have never been totally reconciled because of the damage my mom did. And one of the things is that it would be nice if one year one of my relatives would just come over. I have an aunt and an uncle that are very dear to me. And my uncle is the deacon of the Lutheran Church in East Heartland. And my aunt has always been a very nice person who's my father's sister. And it would have been nice if, especially if they came and paid me a visit, just to say hi. Like I said on Thanksgiving Day, one of the things that's hard is that I don't get a chance to see anybody. They keep their distance. In fact, it kind of reminds me of something about what Jesus said about, where was I when where were you when I was hungry, cold, just a tip lonely? And one man said, Lord, when do we see you that way? He said, brother, for every man who's in prison, every man who's sick, every man who's lonely, that is me.
How long have your dad been gone? How long has your father been gone?
2009. There's a little further back than that.
My father died 2010.
Not too far away from it. Maybe my father's 2007. I don't know. That sounds close to right. But I tell you what, I can't wait until the day my chores are through and I can go home. But there's always a stipulation. No easy way out. In other words, I can't type quit on the game, because that's cheating. And I have a goal I must finish. And I'm now beginning to understand what that goal is. By the way, that brings up a very good point, and I'm going to make this quick because it is kind of a somber point. I don't want to get into too long on this. In fact, we discussed this the past night. Yeah. We all here on this earth are for a time. We all have assignments we have to do. We all have several points that we can get off the road of life, if you will. We put them into our life charts. In some cases, it's because we know that there will be times when things are just a little bit too hard for us. But if you manage to pull through and get to the final off-ramp that everybody will eventually come to if they don't decide to turn off the road ahead of time. That is an achievement when you finally have reached the final destination instead of getting off another road and maybe taking an airplane. But
it's true.
No one said it's easy. And my dad, I sense it. He's probably nodding his head up there in heaven as he watches this. And saying, this kid knows more about what's going on than most adults do. Even though she is 48 years old, or going to be 48 in a few months. She knows more than most adults do. You know, we have excitements, like I said, we have to do. The sad truth is that some people never find out or understand what their assignments are because they can't believe that they're meant to do a certain thing. For example, let's say, your mission is to share true kindness and empathy with others. And in this day and age, that's a really hostile thing. Look around you. Do you see much love in the world anymore?
No.
Do you think ISIS loves anybody?
Who?
Islamic State.
No.
Do you think Hamas loves anybody?
No.
Do you think the Ku Klux Klan loves anybody?
No.
They inspire hatred. And that's what's been going on for a while. It was just like in that movie Country Christmas. That is we have been told that there's no room in this world for people to show true love because this world is a dog-eat-dog world and I'm going to eat your liver for breakfast kind of attitude. Well,
that's true.
But when you think about it, though, what happens when you do meet that person that, out of the goodness of their own heart, helps you out? Gives you a 20 spot. Gives you $1. Takes you to McDonald's and buys you a plain double cheeseburger. Just because you helped him fix a broken water heater in his basement of one of his properties. I'm talking about my landlord. Yeah, but that's kind of in a way, it's still the same thing. Because Jimmy could easily say, look, I'm already giving you a $50 a month break. What else do you want from me? I guess so. But that's another common problem. We all seem to say is, what's in it for me? That's a good question. What is it in it for people? It seems like that's a very common part of the day and age today. What do you think? We always seem to ask, what's in it for me? In other words, we want something tangible in trade for something. We set a value on it. For example, let's say, like in this case of, we do a job for somebody. Say, for example, you clean the hallways because the landlord needs your help cleaning because he's getting old. And then you say to him, what's in it for me?
Yeah, it's true.
Well, we all seem to think that there's always going to be something, almost like you're going to trade me something value for something that I'm going to do for you for value. What if you just swept the hallway anyway, occasionally? Or took out the garbage of all the papers by the mail slots that have expired? Like old, Foothills Traders and things like that. Don't even ask a question.
Just do it.
It's easy enough to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I'm asking you to go ahead and pump his septic tank. Well, if that's what you needed and if you had the ability to do that, I suppose that would be reasonably fair. But I don't have the ability to pump a septic tank. But I certainly do have ability to carry a small garbage can of papers to the dumpster on occasion. I remember I talked to Jimmy about something, about some people we know in this building. And they were supposed to move into one of the apartments. And they moved in with me at the Yellow House for the time being. And originally, Jimmy thought there was going to be one child, a mom, and a dad. Turns out there was 3 children, a mom and a dad. And they were going to rent an apartment that only had really 1 bedroom, maybe 2 if you were crafty and creative. I said to Jimmy nicely, I said, Jimmy, realistically, you can't put them in a 1-bedroom apartment. That's just not going to work. I mean, the fire marshal is not going to approve it. It's not going to be any room for anybody to have any space. He said, yeah, but the problem is right now they're squatting in the yellow house in the rear. I said, Jimmy, are they needing a house that's a bit bigger than a small 1-bedroom apartment? I say, as long as they can pay the rent, let them stay.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't, that's a different story. Then they have to go. But you can't expect to cram all 5 people into an apartment that's only really a 1-bedroom. It's not much bigger than this one. How in the heaven's name are you going to do that? I mean, they're young kids. One of the children has special needs, and you can't. That's. I'm like, I said, one time I got mad with Jimmy. I said to him, about Dory. This is about you now. I said to him, I looked him straight in the face. I said, Jimmy, when are you going to have some compassion? Dory is important to me, and is important because she's one of the few people who even come out to talk to me. She's already got an apartment. Yet you keep acting as if she's going to move in here. She's already got a place. Have a little compassion. I don't even get to see anybody. She's one of the few people who even show up. It gets lonely up there, you know? No one ever asked it anything else.
What did he say?
Well, he's put it this way. He just kind of shook his head in disgust and walked away.
Because he's a moron.
But you know, there is no doubt in my mind that probably like a seed that falls in some rocky ground. Maybe it'll fall into a crack where there's some fertile dirt, and maybe it'll grow into an understanding. I think it is. Even if it is just a small little plant. Because I haven't heard him yell any more about you being here. Not that saying that he couldn't yell at you, but I don't see him going out of his way to make trouble anymore. That's true, he's not. Now, guys, I want to be honest when I also say that I think you ought to think about this for your own selves and your own situations. We all have a time when we are all lonely and depressed or unsure of what the future is. But you do know that it's almost like the old expression says, life is not permanent. You know, it isn't. Your time here on this earth is transitory. And you need to squeeze the day for what it's worth. Because we all will eventually go home. That's true. And also don't forget that there are also people who will go home and will do great things. And there are also people who go home and will do nothing great at all. Except complain. Yeah, but those kind of people are all over the place anyway. Yeah.
I'm falling asleep.
Well, anyway, guys, look. What we want to hear from you, right? So, why don't we give you a way you can reach us? The comment section below this video. We want to hear what you got to say. And you want to say anything, Dory?
No. I just wish that, I just wish that people would be more understanding than other people's feelings sometimes. Because sometimes people have a tendency of not understanding people's feeling. Everybody's human. Everybody has their own way of living. That's the way I feel.
And you also do realize, of course, that everybody has their own little aches and pains.
That's right.
Maybe others can't understand them.
That's right.
But, we're all on this great road of life together. And it would probably be best if we could at least stop and say hello occasionally to the other travelers.
And if Michele's family out there watches her videos, just try to understand that she puts a lot of work into these. Like she said, a phone call,
a postcard, a letter, even if it says, Michele, how are you doing? That's all she wants to do. And if you do out there watch these videos, and I know some of you guys are on Facebook.
Yeah. And if you
so
are
you
there,
really,
so you know that sometimes she posts things on Facebook and Twitter.
Every video is on Facebook.
If she posts everything on Twitter, on Facebook, on probably even Hangouts,
Google Plus.
Google Plus. You know how to reach her. If you can, and just say hello. Amen.
And there's one more thing I want to say out to this. Go ahead. There's just applies to a lot of family, especially a lot of the elderly. So many times people put elderly in nursing homes, and then we kind of forget them. Yeah, they do.
I can tell you a story about that too. Mm-hmm. When I took care of my grandmother when she got sick, I took care of her. I was 8.5 months pregnant.
We're not saying it's easy to take care of the elderly.
And then I took care of my grandmother when I was pregnant, and my daughter was 6 months old. My youngest daughter was 6 months old. And my father's like, I can't watch you do this anymore. I can't watch you take care of my mother. And my father put her in a nursing home. And I was devastated because I didn't have my grandmother to take care of anymore. And I had a 6-month-old baby. But it's kind of hard because I was so used to taking care of my grandmother, I didn't know what to do.
You know what the saddest thing is?
And I didn't talk to my dad for like 2 weeks after that because I was so mad that he took that away from me. But you know what? I realized that he did it for me. I realized that he did it because I had a 6-month-old baby and I was getting worn out, and I just realized that he did it for my well-being. And if you're listening to this, and if you're listening, Mom, you too, just remember, I love you, and I hope that someday, when it's my turn, that I could be with you again. But family is important to everybody.
And the Christmas is important, even more so. It brings up the reminder of who we are.
Yeah.
But the sad truth, Dory, and you've seen this, people sometimes put people in family in nursing homes, and then they pretend they don't exist anymore. It's like bringing them to some place and saying, it's like bringing your stuff to the landfill. Oh, I don't need this whole refrigerator anymore, so there you go, right to the landfill. It's just like the same thing with some relatives. Put them in a nursing home and never see them.
My family didn't do that.
Right. But unfortunately, some do.
We took Grandma out. We took her everywhere. But until she got really bad and we couldn't lift her anymore. But Family's important. You only have one family. And like I said, if Michelle's family is listening, pick up a phone call.
Sure.
Like she said, a postcard. All she wants to hear is one family member her thinks of her.
You know, the sad truth is guys, is that I'm not getting younger. My health is iffy. That's all I'm going to say. My doctors don't even know exactly how my health works together. It's, my whole body's a giant enigma. It doesn't, medical doctors don't quite understand all the things that my body does or how it does it. And sometimes it makes it hard because there's just times that I just want to just crash my shoulders. I have hard times. And there's no shoulder, you know. Everybody just kind of walks away and says, oh, do your own thing. But sometimes, you know, we need a helping hand. Sometimes we need an emotional life preserver. I mean, maybe you might think it's kind of silly to hold a person's hand or to say, I care. But really, it means a lot. And it's really hard, especially for me on the holidays, because where is everybody? Everybody else is going out to see their favorite relatives, and yet here I am, day in and day out, doing what I do. You know what? Don't forget something, Michelle. This is important. Do you know why the original Hans Christian Andersen Snow Queen was so cold? Yeah, I do. You tell me. Because she was lonely. She adopted Kay because she had no children of her own to show love to. How she got cold like that in the first place, the Hans Christian Andersen novel doesn't go into detail on. But what is important is that deep down, she wanted to have a child that she could show love to, but nobody was interested in being her suitor. And according to another legend, the Snow Queen was never meant to marry. First she married, this is the Swiss Alps tale, then winter would be gone to the Alps. Yeah, that's true. We got two different Snow Queen legends. So let's try not to mix them up too much because it always confuses everybody. But you're right, she definitely was lonely. And I think if you go back to the original Alps tale, yeah, for she saw this one man, this one hunter, who was struck by her awesomeness, her beauty. And her goblin guards were sitting there and like, oh crap. Normally she tells us to dispatch these people. She's just staring at him. And he's staring at her. And they took matters in their own hands and they threw the man over a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And she was so moved by his plight that she shed a tear, which would later become the Edelweiss flower, which is the flower of Austria. So you see, even a cold stone person can still be a very soft center. Kind of like when you eat a hard candy. Like a jawbreaker. Well, it's usually hard all the way through, but even so, you suck on those jawbreakers, you might notice that they taste pretty good on the inside. Or like if you're eating a hard candy, like a Christmas candy, like Whitman's samplers. Yeah, the ones with the chocolate coating and then got the marshmallow inside. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's true. So what the point is that she really, in the Austrian Alps tale, really wanted to love the hunter, but she couldn't leave the Alps because if she did, the Alps would be in trouble. So she was stuck. Do I stay or do I leave? But because her goblin guards took on the impetus to throw him over the cliff, she never got a chance to say one way or another. It's kind of like the song by Kalijah, the poor old wooden head. Yeah, but that's a wooden head. It's not a human being. True. Well, first of all, guys, if you look at me, I'm like a soft chocolate on the outside, and I'm a soft marshmallow center on the inside. I am a snow queen, but I'm also a human being too. And I definitely want to first of all thank all of you who have watched these videos in this year. Soon we'll be wrapping it up for this year, and we'll be starting 2016 in a couple of weeks. And that means that the bcast 2015 will come to a close. It will start a whole nother year. But I feel like we have come a long way since those 5 years, since 2011. But I hope that you will continue to grow with me and to think of all the things that I've done and things I have got to do and things I have failed to do, because I'm only human. It's true. But I'm going to keep trying. I got a long list of chores to do. And when I go home and my chores are through, I will see my family that has already went before me. It's just too bad that the family that is still here doesn't take the time to contact me some way. Maybe someday when you realize that you really are losing out on something very special. But unfortunately, unlike the Snow Queen, are you going to basically shed an Edelweiss floor tear after that time? Or do you want to seize the day and tell the goblins, no, do not throw him over the cliff? At least let me talk to him. At the least, let me at least talk to him. It's up to you. So for now, I want to thank you all for watching this. I know this gets emotional. And Dory's tired and it's late. It is. It's almost midnight. It's almost midnight. So, okay. So let me say this again. You want to do it? Yeah. You want to say it with me? Does she know the line? I think she does. Ready? Don't forget to like or dislike, share with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel, and always keep us in your heart and prayers. Always. Always.
Amen.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Hey, did you know there's a lot more going on right now at our websites? Are you watching all 4 of them? If not, check them out. There's a list right here. We got 3 YouTube channels and 1 audio-only channel for your enjoyment. So come on, dig in and see all the stuff we do here at the North American Snow Queen Palace.